Hey everybody, this is Zach. Welcome back to my series, a Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition Dungeon Master tries to learn Pathfinder. If you haven't seen any of the videos previously, make sure to check out the playlist, which I'll put in, I think, this corner over here. You can click on that, see the whole playlist. You can see a quick intro, me reading through the introduction, chapter 1 and chapter 2 of the Pathfinder 2nd edition core rulebook. Today we're going to be looking at chapter 3. We're going to dive into classes. I'm doing this in order, and I'm not really bouncing farther ahead into the rulebook. I'm just trying to read it as we go. I want to say off the bat, that is not the right way to learn a system. I'm doing this for the purposes of video and creating content, and it's a little easier to just take things page by page rather than trying to bounce around. It looks a little cleaner. But if you were learning a new game system, this is not a novel that you should read from cover to cover. It's a reference manual. Most people wouldn't read a dictionary or encyclopedia from A to Z in that order. You look up the thing that you need to look up. So if you run across a term that you don't completely understand, look it up in the glossary, or if you're in a PDF, maybe run a find for that term and try to see if you can find a better explanation for it. In an earlier video in chapter 1, I ran across proficiency, and I kind of made a guess at what I thought the proficiency bonus was going to end up being, and a lovely viewer corrected me in the comments, and I think that's great, and I think it's valuable for what I'm doing here. Yeah, all that to say, this is probably not the most optimal way to learn, but it's good content, and I will do my best to, if I'm not sure of something, I'm going to wrap it around I think. And so don't take anything I say as gold. Again, we're learning the system, probably going to end up making mistakes. Okay, here we go. Let's jump into today's review, chapter 3. I've got my PDF of the core rulebook here. I've got our fillable character PDF that I got from qtimes.com. So thank you, qtimes. And then over here, I've got a little notepad with that I'm just quickly kind of taking down some notes on what I'm gonna like as we build our characters. If there's not something that I'm immediately putting into the character sheet, I'm kind of marking here. So we've seen that we're building a dwarf because I've just really liked the dwarf flavor text and all of the ancestry feats. Just thought it was really cool. And honestly, dwarves are really cool, and I've never been able to really play one before. So we've got boosts. We found out yesterday that, or not yesterday, but in the previous video, that boosts are a +2, not simply just a +1. So you're getting a +2 to your score, which automatically translates to a +1 in your modifiers. And then a flaw, this should say -2 and not +2. That's on me. So because I'm a dwarf, I got a +2 bonus to con, a +2 bonus to wisdom, and another free boost that we're going to apply probably after I pick a class, because we want to, do this right. And then -2 flaw to charisma from dwarf. I have an extra free that I got from my tinkerer background, believe is where we grabbed that. We can quickly take a look back. Tinkerer, yes. So we choose 2. One was dex or intelligence, and the other one's free. I automatically put it into intelligence, so that's already reflected here in the character sheet. And also, let's go ahead and say that I am trained in the crafting skill, because we didn't do this. And engineering lore. Boom. And I gain the specialty crafting skill feat. So we can throw that in. There's a skill feat here. So I can say specialty crafting. Don't know what that is yet. Probably we can take a look. when we get to, there's a whole chapter on feats. Apparently chapter 5 is on feats. So we'll try to remember to look that up when we are in 2 videos from now when we're checking out chapter 5. All right. Chapter 3, classes. There are 12 core classes. We kind of saw that when we 2 videos ago when we were looking through chapter 1, and we kind of saw a brief overview. So we've already kind of seen just what the general classes. What I'm really hoping for before we dive past this first page. I really liked the paragraphs in chapter 2 when talking about ancestries. Paizo specifically did call outs like, if you're a dwarf, you might be blank and others might feel blank about you. Like that kind of stuff. I forget the exact wording. But I really liked it because it gave us a quick hit of what do you internally feel about yourself playing as this, and what do others externally put on you, which is such a great quick hit, great way of just getting, hopefully helps us and you get into character really quickly. So we have leveling up on page 31. We already saw, it tells you how to make your character stronger. So we know that XP is basically just 0 to 1,000 XP, and then once you hit 1,000, you level up. Any carryover that got you past the 1,000 mark carries over with you, and then you just reset your XP down to 0. Animal companions and familiars, much later, provides rules to create an animal companion. You must have a class feature or feat that grants you a companion or familiar to use those rules. Archetypes on 219 gives you thematic options to allow you to further customize your character's abilities. Though these rules are not recommended for beginners, the archetypes in this book allow you to gain abilities from other classes starting at 2nd level. Okay, this is... All right, we knew this was probably going to be like a mechanically heavier... I mean, this is the guts of Pathfinder right here, is generally like the on the character sheet classes. We knew it was going to be mechanically heavier and different. That is way different than 5th edition. It seems like archetypes is what they have kind of intelligently called multi-classing in 5th edition. In 5th edition, you basically just, there are certain rules that if I start off as a wizard and then decide that I wanted to take some levels in, what would a wizard really want to take? Couldn't see. So a wizard takes a, I don't know, monk. Sure. Monk. There are certain prerequisites based on your ability scores to make sure that your wizard monk can still operate. And then you're just sacrificing, instead of taking a level in wizard, you take a level in that other class, which makes sense for how 5th edition functions, because you're basically gaining set abilities as you level up at certain times. With Pathfinder, as we've kind of seen in Ancestries, Chapter 1 and Chapter 2, really there's generally probably going to just be massive options for feats that you choose based on your level, and you pick a new feat every time you level up. Feats have a required level to make sure that you don't get immediate access to high level stuff. And some of them have prerequisites that kind of almost build out like a skill tree. But it makes sense that instead of like sacrificing levels or something like that, you basically sacrifice the option of getting a feat from your main class. You kind of pick an archetype that allows you to pick a feat from another class. So like if you wanted to play so for instance, a class that I really want to be able to play there is not a good way, a mechanically sound way of doing in 5th edition without using homebrewed classes. There's no way to play an unarmed fighter. You can play a monk and get access to ki, but that's not really what I have in my mind when I think of, I want an adventurer who learned how to fight in bars and like maybe in fighting rings and wrestling, and all they know how to do is throw punches and throw kicks, maybe some grapples. And there's no real way to do that in 5th edition because the fighter leans so heavily. Like, if you just go fighter but don't take a weapon, you're only doing 1 damage. Like, there's no additional weapon damage for you just using your bare fists without introducing like some homebrew magic items or something like that. And a monk just thematically doesn't fit with that. You're talking about someone who has gone to a monastery or a temple and learned how to center themselves and are focusing on mystical elements like ki. That's just not what I'm looking for. Seems like here there's a possibility that I could train as a fighter at level 1 and then opt into taking specific monk feats that allow me to get the kind of unarmed damage that I'm looking for without having to dip toes into the thematic and flavor of a monk, which would be tight. All right. Each class provides your character with an ability boost to a key ability score, a number of hit points. So we're going to gain hit points. We've already got 10 hit points from being a dwarf, which is was high among the 6 base races. Ancestries. We're going to get hit points then based on what we choose to, which also makes sense. But it sounds like they stack. So I'll add to my 10 already, which is going to be, that's going to be a ton of HP at level 1 compared to 5th edition. Proficiency ranks for various abilities, equipment, and skills, special abilities from their class features, and more. Your character's class entry also provides the information needed when they gain levels, so it'll be a vital reference, of course. Yeah. Yep, so it sounds like we are going to get interests and tendencies typical of that class. Can help inspire you, but you aren't obligated to play like that. Perfect. Key ability. This ability score you'll use to determine your difficulty class. It's called your class DC, which we see is obviously hugely important. It's right here below ability scores on our character sheet. If your character is a member of a spellcasting class, this key ability used to calculate spell DCs and similar values. For instance, if you're a fighter, you can choose either strength or dexterity. Fighter who chooses strength will excel in hand-to-hand combat, while those who choose dexterity prefer ranged or finesse weapons. Makes sense, similar to 5th edition. Hit points. Yep, add the hit points they got from your ancestry and in the amount listed, which equals your constitution minor plus a fixed number. Same in 5th edition. Initial proficiencies. So you get class feats and then general feats. So class feats, only members of that class can access. Class feats are granted at 1st or 2nd level depending on your class. Skill feats at 2nd level and every 2 levels after. Most classes gain a skill feat, though rogues gain them earlier and more often. So rogues are going to be your trained in all things, and bard will probably be 2nd. General feat specifies the levels at which your character gains general feats. Most classes granted general feat at 3rd level and every 4 levels after. You can select any general feat, including skill feats. Interesting, as long as your character qualifies for it. A 3rd level and every 2 levels after, you get a skill increase. You can use a skill increase to either become trained in one skill in which they're untrained or become an expert in one skill in which they've already trained. And then once you reach 7th level, you can take something from expert to master. Cool. 5th level and every 5 levels after, you get 4 different ability boosts. Your character can use these ability boosts to increase their ability scores above 18. Boosting an ability score increases it by 1 if it is already 18 or above, or by 2 if it starts out below 18. Interesting. It's a good way of kind of scaling back as you start, like, level 10. I mean, that's a ton of boosts. If you choose to dump those into, your key stats, you could have, or probably will have, characters spec'd out above that 18 mark by level 10, and you want to make sure that there isn't, like, they don't hit 20. I mean, most people don't, but let's say you don't hit 15 and you don't have like a 24 already. Ancestry feat, so you get more ancestry feats. Cool. Yeah, we already seen that. All right, so we already kind of saw this. Instead of wow, okay. We're on page 69. Nice. And this chapter is going to last at least 200, probably like 150 pages. So we'll see. We'll do what we can, and we might have to break up chapter 2 into multiple parts. Or we just won't read. I mean, I don't know. We'll kind of have to play that one by ear. We'll figure it out. Alchemist is an intelligence-based class. You get 8 plus your Constitution modifier. Okay. It's cool that you don't roll. In 5th edition, you do roll. I feel like probably a common house rule is that DMs in 5th edition uses, if you roll a number, like you roll a 1 on hit points, you get to re-roll, because that just sucks. Pathfinder just removes that option. You gain a set amount every level, with your Constitution modifier being the kind of dictator of. They've really removed dice rolling. There is no dice rolling in creating your character, really, because you're not rolling for ability scores or anything like that. During combat encounters, during social encounters, while exploring in downtime, you might, others probably. This first page tells you really everything you need to know about, am I going to enjoy playing this class? It tells you so much. Very cool. During combat encounters, you lob bombs at your foes, harry your enemies, and support the rest of your party with potent elixirs. At higher levels, your mutagens warp your body into a resilient and powerful weapon. What the H? Okay, that's cool. Wow. Okay, so you're doing probably you're ranged. In combat, you're probably sitting back ranged. You're probably throwing bombs to do damage, debuffing. You're debuffing some folks. I want to make sure that. Yeah. Okay. Debuffing some folks, your enemies, and then buffing and healing your party, staying on the outskirts. During social encounters, you provide knowledge and experience about alchemical items and related secrets such as poisons and diseases. While exploring, you keep an eye out for trouble with your bombs at the ready, while giving advice on all things alchemical and mysterious. In downtime, you experiment in an alchemical lab, brewing elixirs, making bombs, and furthering your alchemical knowledge. So I feel like Alchemists is going to rely on downtime a lot, because you kind of have to prep you probably have to prep your bombs and elixirs ahead of time and then count how many you have with you. So you really have to, most likely you're going to have to work with your GM, and the GM's going to have to keep that in mind a lot if you're in a party with an alchemist, that they need time to prep all of these things and have the materials. And so we'll see kind of if there's any, winks and nods towards being able to make that easier on players or not. You might enjoy tinkering with strange formulas and alchemical reagents, often with a single-minded dedication and recklessness that gives others pause. You might get a kick out of wreaking havoc with alchemical concoctions you've made, and enjoy watching things burn, dissolve, freeze, and jolt. You might endlessly experiment to discover new and more potent alchemical tools. Others probably think you're some kind of sorcerer or an eccentric wizard and don't understand that you don't cast spells. Spellcasters who clumsily dabble in alchemy only heighten this misconception. They don't understand your zeal for alchemy, creativity, and invention, and assume that you haven't caused a catastrophe. Assume that if you haven't caused a catastrophe with your experimentations, you inevitably will. Sounds like a blast. First level, you gain the list of proficiency ranks. You are untrained in anything not listed unless you gain a better proficiency rank in some way. Trained in perception. Expert in fortitude and reflex saving throws, and trained in will. I wonder if everybody has some level in saving throws. That's interesting. Skills. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to build a Alchemist. I'm the most interested in this one because it is totally new to me, having never run or looked at Pathfinder before, and there really isn't a comparable version of this in 5th edition. So we're going to build an Alchemist and spend the most time here, and then we'll hit our hour mark on this video. So we have about 40 minutes left. We'll hit our hour mark and then split up the rest of the classes for later videos if we need to. But that way we can just go ahead, first time looking at a class, we can start building on our sheet. Perception, I am trained. I am an expert in fortitude. I'm going to mark both because that makes sense to me. Fortitude, expert in reflex, and trained in will. Trained in crafting. Ooh, I think I already got that. So I think I get to choose a different one, and then I get to train in a number of additional skills equal to 3 plus my intelligence mod. Skills. Trained. So I think I now get to pick 4. Or, yes, 4 plus int mod. So that's a lot of skills that I'll be able to get trained in, which is awesome. Attacks. I am trained. There's not really a place. Oh, here we go. I see it now. Trained in simple. Trained in, gosh, alchemical, and trained in unarmed. Trained in light armor and unarmed defense. And I'm trained in the Alchemist class DC. That makes sense. Okay. Quick table giving us an overview. Yep. Initial proficiencies. You gain a number of proficiencies. Yep. Did that. Alchemy. You understand the complex interactions of natural and unnatural substances and can concoct alchemical items to meet your needs. You can do this using normal reagents and the craft activity, or you can use special infused reagents that allow you to craft temporary items quickly and at no cost. Over time, you can create more and more alchemical items for free, and since each of them becomes more and more powerful, you advance in power dramatically, leaving those behind who don't understand your strange science. You gain the alchemical crafting feat. Would I put this in class feats? Yes. Well, yes. Yes. Well, okay. I'm just going to put it in bonus feats right now. Well, I can put it in, yeah, bonus feats. Alchemical crafting. Even if you don't meet that feat's prerequisites, and you gain the 4 common first level alchemical formulas granted by that feat. So, feats that we need to look at. Specialty crafting and alchemical crafting. You can use this feat to create alchemical items as long as you have the items formulas in your formula book. Cool. You infuse reagents with your own alchemical essence, allowing you to create alchemical items at no cost. Each day, during your daily preparations, you gain a number of batches of infused reagents equal to your level plus your int mod. You can use these reagents for either advanced alchemy or quick alchemy, described below. Together, these infused reagents have light bulk. So you know what? In my inventory, well, yeah. I'll put it in other items. I'm gonna put infused reagents. Did I spell that wrong? R-E-A before the G. Which is equal to 1 plus int per day. And I'll update that to just say a number. Well, no, I need to say 1 plus int because my int mod will change as I level up. That's unfortunate. I'll just put 1 right now. We'll just take out both for right now. While infused reagents are physical objects that can't be duplicated, preserved, or created in any way other than your daily preparations, any such artificial reagents lack the infusion and are useless for advanced alchemy or quick alchemy. During your daily prep, after producing new infused reagents, you can spend batches of those infused reagents to create infused alchemical items. You don't need to attempt a crafting check to do this. You ignore both the number of days typically required to create the items and any alchemical reagent requirements. Your advanced alchemy level is equal to your level. For each batch of infused reagents you spend, choose an alchemical item of your advanced alchemy level or lower that's in your formula book and make a batch of 2 of that item. These items have the infused trait and are made potent for 24 hours or until your next daily prep. Where would I put this? I'm not going to need this. So yeah, so wait, feature, feat. Class feats seem different. These are class features. Okay, so I'm gonna put advanced alchemy here. And maybe I'll put infused reagents here too. Damn, okay. We getting complicated here, folks. It's not probably not complicated is probably the wrong word. It's just different in learning. So I'm gonna put actually quick alchemy should go under my actions because it looks like it's an action. So I can say this is an action. So I'm gonna say quick alchemy, 1 action, trait, Alchemist, and manipulate Page 72. That's good to have. Description. Create one alch item to use I'm going to use AA to stand for Advanced Alchemy, because that seems like basically what the class is built on. Create one item, no check. Start potent only until start of next turn. Okay. Formula book. Alchemist keeps meticulous records of the formulas for every item they create. You start with a standard formula book for free. Formula book contains the formulas for 2 common first level alchemical items of your choice, in addition to those gained from alchemical crafting and your research field. So it seems like similar to how wizards add spells to their spellbook, alchemists add recipes to their formula book. You get 2 plus from alchemical crafting. Oh, plus whatever I learned just for knowing that feat, the alchemical crafting feat for first level alchemical. So I should have a gain. So I should have 6 first level items. It's also possible to buy or find additional formulas, or to invent them with the inventor feat. You know I'm doing that. You know I'm doing that, viewer. Research field. Your inquiries into the alchemical nature of the universe has led you to focus on a particular field of research. You might have a degree from a scientific institute, correspond with other researchers in your field, or work as a genius loner. Choose a field of research. The research presented in this book. Bomber, you specialize in explosions. You start with formulas for 2 first-level alchemical bombs in your formula book, in addition to other formulas. Ooh, and then you don't have to worry about splash damage, like accidentally hurting pals, which is cool. I think that's supposed to be like a play on surgeon. Chirurgeon. I don't know. 2 formulas. Oh, you start with 2, either lesser antidote, less anti-plague, or lesser elixir of life. As long as your proficiency rank in medicine is trained or better, you can attempt a crafting check instead of medicine check for any of medicine's untrained and trained uses. Okay, that's cool. Mutagenist, whatever. You focus on bizarre mutagenic transformations that sacrifice one aspect of a creature's physical or physiological being in order to strengthen another. You gain the benefit of any mutagen, even if it wasn't specifically brewed for you. Whenever your proficiency rank for simple weapons increases, your proficiency rank for unarmed attacks increases to the same rank, unless it's already better. I think we're going to go bomber, because that just seems like a blast. Because I can always pick like support level stuff if I want to do it. And it doesn't seem like it's possible that there might be feats that require a bomber research field, but it just seems kind of like a boost. Okay. Alright, so we're just going to look at first level, so I'm going to get an Alchemist feat at first level. Oh, at 5th level, so depending on my field, I do get a bonus later on. Cool. And again, more cool. Key terms, additive. Feats with the additive trait allow you to spend actions to add special substances to bombs or elixirs. You can only add one additive to a single alchemical item, and attempting to add another spoils the item. You can typically use actions with the additive trait only when you're creating an infused alchemical item. Some can be used only with a quick alchemy action. Additive trait is always followed by a level such as additive 2. An additive adds its level to the level of the alchemical item you're modifying. The result is the new level of the mixture. The mixture's item level must be no higher than your advanced alchemy level. Okay, so you can take smaller things and add things to it to increase its level. Cool. We'll have to look and see like what these additives are. Like, is it adding fire damage to something? Is it increasing the amount of healing it can do? Infused. You created an alchemical item with the infused trait using your infused regents, and it has a limited time before it becomes inert. Any non-permanent effects from your infused alchemical items, with the exception of afflictions, such as slow-acting poisons, end when you make your daily preparations again. Okay. You learn evasion at 15th level. That's pretty dope. Okay, so here's our alchemist feats. Here's our 4. We pick 1 here, I'm pretty sure. Alchemist feats at first level, never even numbered level, you gain an additional class feat. So I think we just get 1 class feat. But let's double check and see if it doesn't say. I'm pretty sure just get 1. Yeah, just 1 feat. Get a familiar. You've used alchemy to create life. A simple creature formed from alchemical materials, regents, and a bit of your own blood. Small creature of flesh and blood. Use your intelligence modifier to determine its perception, acrobatics, and stealth. Alchemical savant. You can identify alchemical items quickly. When using the crafting skill to identify alchemy on an alchemical item you hold, you can do so as a single action. Has to concentrate and manipulate traits instead of spending 10 minutes. Wow. That's quick. If you have the formula for the item you're attempting to identify, you gain +2's bonus to the check. And you can't crit fail. You just get a fail. Farlobber. You will learn to throw a longer distance when you throw an alchemical bomb as a range increment of 30 instead of 20. Okay. You keep your bombs in easy-to-reach pouches from which you draw without thinking. You interact to draw a bomb and then strike with it. Makes it so you can... Quick bomber means that I can strike with a bomb in 1 single action, which is quick. I feel like every alchemist probably takes that at some point. We'll take quick bomber, because that just seems easy, and then we can get Farlobber later if we want to. Let's just look through here. Poison resistance, revivify mutagen. Wow. Single action, you can regain hit points. Basically sacrifice your mutagen to regain hit points. Smoke bomb. Use the bomb to create a cloud. Trigger when you use quick alchemy to craft an alchemical bomb with a level of at least 1 lower. Yeah. So, gotcha. So I would use quick alchemy as an action, and then as a free action, I can basically add it to like kind of manipulate the bomb to create a smoke bomb. It takes a level 1 bomb and makes it a level 2 bomb because it has the additive 1 trait. When thrown, the bomb creates a cloud of smoke in a 10-foot radius. You choose which corner of the target space the cloud is centered on. Creatures in the area have the concealed condition, and all other creatures are concealed to them. Smoke lasts for 1 minute or dissipated by a strong wind. Okay, cool. Very cool. Calculated splash. Ooh, you can cause the bomb to deal splash damage equal to your intelligence mod instead of the normal amount. When produced, you can produce twice as many alchemical items in a single batch without spending additional preparatory time. For example, if you're creating elixirs of life, you can craft up to 8 in a single batch using downtime rather than 4. Wow. Okay, so here's a sample bomber. Prioritize intelligence, dexterity. Constitution helps you survive. Wisdom prevents you from bombing the wrong target. Yeah, so I think I'm doing okay there. Maybe can boost dex. Probably con and wisdom will probably stay where they're at right now, and then we'll boost dex and intelligence. Quick bomber, yeah. Directional bomb, sticky bomb, expanded splash, mega bomb. Wow, that looks wacky, yo. Wacky. You can craft a philosopher's stone. Mega bomb. Wow. Cool. Okay, so I think got maybe 15 minutes left. Let's look and see. Let's look at the alchemical feat or the alchemical crafting stuff. We'll look at that, call it a day on this video. It'll just be about the Alchemist. And then we'll try to go through as many other classes as we can, and it might just take a couple videos to get through all the classes. Or if it doesn't seem useful to go through all the classes on video, instead we're just learning. Hopefully we've kind of figured out, you know, what we need to learn about certain classes, and then we can just move on and come back to other classes. We'll see. Let me know in the comments what you would like me to do. So infused regions. So trying to see the page number. Catalog of alchemical items starts on page 543. They are not magical. They instead use the properties of volatile chemicals, exotic minerals, potent plants, and other substances, collectively referred to as alchemical regions. Can't be dismissed or affected by dispel magic. Good, because they ain't magic. If you roll a critically failing a crafting check to make an alchemical item often causes a dangerous effect such as an explosion for a bomb or exposure to poison, in addition to losing some of the materials. Fun. This is a lot of items, guys. A lot of items. So I can pick 6 items that I can craft and 2 bombs. Where would I write this? need like a whole other page just to be able to like write down. I guess so. I'll put my bombs in ranged strikes. Yeah, that makes sense. I can do 2 bombs. Alchemical bombs. Most deal damage, but some produce other effects. Range of 20 feet. When you throw a bomb, you make a weapon attack roll against the target's AC, as you would for any other weapon. Bomb is activated when thrown as a strike. You don't have to activate it separately. Most bombs also have the splash trait. When you use a thrown weapon with the splash trait, you don't add your strength modifier to the damage roll. If an attack with a splash weapon fails, succeeds, or critically succeeds, all creatures within 5 feet of the target take the listed splash damage. On a failure, but not a crit failure, the target of the attack still takes the splash damage. Add splash damage together with initial damage against the target before applying the target's resistance or weakness. Don't multiply splash damage from a critical hit. For example, if you throw a lesser acid flask into your target, the creature would take 1d6 persistent acid damage and 1 acid splash damage. All other creatures within 5 feet of it would take 1 acid splash damage. On a critical hit, target would take 2d6 persistent acid damage, but the splash damage would still be 1. If you missed, target would still take 1 splash damage. If you critically failed, no one would take damage. Okay, cool. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Acid. Flag deals 1 acid damage. And the listed splash. Okay. So lesser is a level 1, and then you can create more. That's cool. Cool. Ooh, Tanglefoot bag. That's cool. I mean, you have to do Alchemist fire, right? And I mean, I don't have to just do 2 bombs. I can get an additional. Okay, so we're gonna do our Alchemist's fire. It's 1d6. I don't know what to put there. Traits. Chemical. Bomb. I'm just gonna put alch. Bomb. Fire. Splash. It's 1d8 fire damage. I'm gonna say 1 persistent fire, 1 fire splash. I don't know what these are. Maybe I should look at an example. Yeah, probably. And a Tanglefoot bag. I think I'm going to put that in my readied. On a critical hit, creature in contact with a solid surface becomes stuck to the surface and immobilized for 1 round. Creature flying via wings has its wings tangled, causing it to fall safely to the ground and become unable to fly again for a round. Not effective when used against water. 3 interact actions to carefully remove the sticky substance. They don't have to be consecutive, and other creatures can provide the... Okay, yeah. So that's negative 10 speed, DC 17. Man, look at all this list of all the level 1 stuff I can make. Tons of elixirs. And I get to learn 6 more, including more bags. Or another bomb if I wanted to. Okay, so I think I'm gonna... Yeah, really, I should, like, if this was my actual character sheet, I would have a second whole, like, or a whole other page just for my, Alchemist stuff. So I'm not going to put it on my sheet. I'm going to put it in my notes here. Just, I think we get it, but let's quickly look through all the other ones. Antidote protects you against toxins. You get an item bonus to fortitude saving throws against. It's not until major that you even really get to just like try to roll against it. Plague. Okay. Your features transform into something bestial and you take on muscle mass. You gain an item bonus to athletics checks and unarmed attack rolls. You gain a claw unarmed attack with an agile trait and jaws unarmed attack. -1 to AC, -2 to reflex save. Claws do 1d4 slashing damage, jaws do 1d6 piercing, and duration's a minute. That's, I mean, cool. Bomber's Eye Elixir. For 5 minutes, your alchemical bomb strikes reduce the circumstance bonus to AC your targets gain from cover. Nice. Man, this is super cool. Cheetah's Elixir. +5 feet to your speed. Cognitive mutagen. That'd be great for, you know, just needing to check rolls. Super cool. Juggernaut mutagen. After you drink this mutagen, your body becomes thick and sturdy. +1 bonus to temporary hit points and fortitude saves. Wow, okay. Very cool. 1d6 hit points. Yeah. That is really cool. Really cool, gang. Where's the other level 1? Wow. Wow, poisons are so, like, it's an actual thing. Yeah, that's the real deal. Scary. Like, I mean, a rogue dipping into Alchemist with Archetype, that would make total sense to me. So, hey, in my notes, I'm just going to say, just to pick. So we got my 2 bombs. I'm also going to grab, Elixir of Life. Oh, boo. First off, these tabs don't have to be as many as this notepad is making it. Okay. Wow, that took a long time. We can make some arsenic. Well, not make necessarily. This is just... Oh, I need to look and see, like, how many regions it takes to make each of these things. Oh, and I need to go look at tools. I didn't get that far. I'm gonna say cognitive mutagen. Bottled lightning. All right, let's go look at those tools really quick. Smokestick. That seems... Ooh. Apply snake oil onto a wound or other outward symptom of an affliction, such as sores from a disease or discoloration from a poison. For the next hour, the symptom disappears, and the wounded or afflicted creature doesn't feel as if it still has the wound. Interesting. Sun rod. This 1 foot long golden tipped rod glows after it's struck on a hard surface. Tinder twig. An alchemical substance applied to one end of this tiny wooden stick ignites when struck. Creating a flame with a tinder twig is much faster than creating a flame. Okay, so it's a match. You can make a match. Smokestick is too... Yeah, like that's pretty tight. I'm also gonna, I think... Cheetah's elixir or dark vision's item 2, so we'll go cheetahs. And then my bombs were what did I say? Tanglefoot and Alchemist fire. And then, like, if I was actually playing this, I would create, if I was GMing, I would try to find another sheet that similar to, honestly, you could take the spell slots or like the spell sheet and turn it into something like a specific one for the Alchemist. Like you could grab, like, change out magic traditions for the discipline or whatever they called it. Yeah, that'd be pretty easy to do, I think. Let's jump back to like the 70s. Oh, nailed it. Okay. I think we did it. Oh, I need to pick skills. So let's, how many? 4 plus int mod. I think that's it for my boosts. Am I right? I think I'm right, but let's go back. Ancestry, background, and class. Oh yeah, and then 4 more boosts. Wow, that's crazy. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna use my 2 frees from right over here. I'm gonna put them both into intelligence because they're free. I should be able to do both. So that takes it to a 16. Then I get 4 more, and they just have to be to different ability scores. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I think that's it. So that's a 0, 1, 2, 4, 2, -1. Which means Oh, yeah. Let's go back to... and then I need to go buy equipment. I think we'll be done, kind of, with first one, and then we can just kind of look through the classes next time. So I think I marked those down already. Yeah. 8 plus con mod. So con mod's 2, 10, so I should have 20 hit points. 20. I would write that in, print and write it. Con mod is 2. I'll need to increase my reflex or my dex mod, but I didn't really have a whole lot. I could be 14 and 16 on intelligence, but I don't think that fits like the idea of kind of like the character really. I have a 1, so as I understand it now, I have a proficiency equal to my level. Okay. Let's just look this up really quick. Proficiency. Might need to go to the glossary. Proficiency. A measure of a character's aptitude gives a proficiency bonus. Okay. So is it just 0, 13, or 444? Proficiency, okay, so if you're untrained, it's just straight 0. If you're trained, it is your level plus 2. Got it. Makes sense. So if you're not trained in something, you really don't have any boosts to it whatsoever. So I am an expert in fortitude saving throws, so right now that is a +5. Which means that I have a fortitude saving throw of +7 because it is my proficiency plus my con mod. Same here, except it's a +6 because my dex mod is smaller, and then will be I'm only trained in will, so that's a +2, so that's a +3. So will's +5. Okay, so now I need to pick, so I get to pick 8 skills. Let's go back to the introduction and check my, the skills and stuff, because I want to make sure. So I've got a super smart rock dwarf tinkering alchemist. Trying to see if I can level up something I'm trained in, or if I'm just trained in all those things and can't take something from trained to expert. Seems like I'm probably just going to be... Do I skip ahead to the skills chapter? I probably do. It's going to be like 240. Oh, that was pretty good. Hang on. So skill increases improve your proficiency in skills of your choice. You can use these increases to become trained in new skills or increase your proficiency rank in skills you're trained in from trained to expert at any level. Unlike when you first became trained in a skill, if 2 different abilities would make you an expert, master, or legendary in a skill. Okay, so I do think I have to be trained. Wow, okay. A lot of skills. Oof. Maybe, or maybe I'm just kind of... Crafting. I am trained in that. I still don't know if I can level up a skill from trained to expert just based off of, I think, yeah, and then trained in. Okay. So I'm going to be trained in deception. That makes sense to me. Medicine for sure. Nature. So that's 3. Deception, medicine, nature. That's 3. I get to do 8, so 5. Then I guess 4, 5, 6. 7, 8. Yeah, sure. It's a lot of skills. So that's a +3. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. Oops, 0, 3, 3, 3. So these are the proficiency bonuses. Which is, if I'm trained, it's just a +2 plus my level, which is 1. So that's why they're all 3. Dex is just mods. Crafting intelligence. So you have a +7 to crafting. But -1 to charisma, but I'm proficient in deception, so I still have a +2. Diplomacy is, -1 to diplomacy. 2 to intimidation. 7 engineering lore. Is there a general lore skill? Like, should I trade out, like... I feel like I should... Here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to quickly undo intimidation. Oh, stop it. Make that -1. I'm just not very intimidating. I don't know what lore yet, but I'll add another lore. Even that medicine made sense. For sure. Still pretty good at that. Still, that's just a 1. That's definitely going to need to go up. So the scores aren't crazy. I mean, starting with one of your scores at 18 is awesome, but not as like crazy as I thought it might end up being. Save that real quick so I don't accidentally lose it. All right, so now I've got 15 gold to spend, but it's already been an hour and 10. So we will continue this later. Thought this was going to be a video just looking at classes, didn't realize how, I mean, should have known, but obviously there's a ton of content to go through. We ended up creating an Alchemist. It's the first class in the book. It's a new one to me, having never done Pathfinder before. But we have actually, like, we have a decent bit of our character sheet built out now at this point, which is awesome. So there's still a couple of things here or there where I didn't add proficiency or mods now that I've got my ability scores all. I might do that off video and come back at the next video with this being a little more filled out. But honestly, the next few videos, if you guys do want me to go through all the classes, let me know. If you don't, we can just skip to chapter 4 with the skills and continue kind of filling this out. We can probably hit skills and feats and equipment maybe all in one video. But if you want me to go through all the classes, we'll probably ditch the character sheet and just read through the PDF like we were in the first couple videos. But yeah, that is it for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, here's my classic YouTuber ending. If you liked the video, hit like. If you want to see more, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below, ring the bell so that you get notified whenever I post a brand new video. The bare minimum, why don't you go to the playlist that I've created for this video section, and you can add this playlist to your section of YouTube, and you can at least keep an eye on this playlist as we go. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.